Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jagaradev, Jai Masters. People often ask a very, very reasonable question when they get on the path, even if they're pretty far on the path. What can I be doing to grow more, to go deeper, to become enlightened, to become more spiritual, and so on? And if you go out there on the web, you get neurotic. No, seriously, it's just like a diet, just like in relationships, like anything else. There's just a potpourri of advice, of things, and they're all good. It's all reasonable and all helpful, depending on you and what fits for you and so on. What they generally leave out, you will find when you get very mature on the path, and you're done with, I want to be high, I want people to respect me, and I want to seem spiritual, and I want to go to God, and I want to make sure I go to heaven when I die, etc., etc., etc. When you're done with all that, because you will be done with it at some point, and you realize you're still here watching all that. It's called spiritual ego. It just goes from the ego that wants things, money, fame, relationships, all sorts of stuff, respect. And then it goes to an ego that says, I want people to think highly of me. I want to seem spiritual. I want to seem godly. I want to know God. I. There's that I again. That's where you go deep. I'm talking to you, seriously. When you realize that I is a problem. And it doesn't matter what that I is saying. It's saying, I am separate from the universe. And I am trying to be one with the universe. Ain't happening. Christ taught some really deep stuff. He said, you must die to be reborn. What does that mean? That I has to go. That I is the self-consciousness, the divinity of your being, falsely identifying itself as one particular body, one particular frame of thoughts, and one particular set of emotions. My hopes, my dreams, my concepts, my views, my beliefs, what happened to me, what's my past, I, me, mine. I, me, mine. I am telling you, you will reach a point, I hope, where you realize you're not going anywhere with that I, me, mine. You're just going to go into I, me, mine. Because that's what it is. You're defining yourself falsely as a human being. You're not a human being. You're watching a human being. That's this whole thing you're learning about witness consciousness. You are the consciousness that is aware. Do you have an ego? Have you noticed you defend yourself? Have you noticed you feel uncomfortable when people say not nice things to you? Do you notice you feel really comfortable when they say nice things to you? Ego, 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 ego. That's all about me being separate, this tiny little thing here in the universe, and that's what I care about. That's what's important to me, is me. How can you possibly expand beyond yourself, not to mention to the whole universe, or merge with everybody? Oh, you all like to talk about being one. We are one in the Spirit. We are one in the Lord. When you're you, you're not one, right? The only one you know about is I, me, and mine. That's who I am. This is what I like and what I don't like, what I believe in. These are my values. These are my hopes and my dreams and my concepts, my views. And this is what I don't like. There. That I ain't going anywheres except changing its costume. So it starts off one way and then it becomes spiritual. And then it's still using the word I. I. Am I doing well? Am I meditating enough? I can't believe we're talking about this so deep. Look, get something straight before we finish. Meditation is wonderful. All the techniques are wonderful. You absolutely can do them and they are beneficial. But if you come to someone like me or to someone who's gone deep and you say, am I meditating enough? There's that word again. There's that letter. Well, why are you meditating? So I can get past me. Me, okay? But this is my sadhana. Me, mine. We still got it. There it is. While that is what is going on inside of you, I am telling you, you may think you're going somewheres, but you're not really going anywheres. You're becoming a nicer person. I'd rather have you as a neighbor than Ted Bundy. Okay? But the net result is this thing of transcending yourself, this thing of dying to be reborn, this thing of letting go of what is binding you, binding your consciousness, distracting your consciousness, holding it down so that it knows you instead of knowing God. While you know you, you cannot know God. I don't think anybody can argue with me, really, all right? While you're busy knowing you, you can't know God. Why? Because you are this tiny little thing and God is everything. How can you focus on a tiny little thing and be everything? You can think about it. Oh, I understand it now. I can quote the Gita in the Bible backwards if there it is again, right? I can do all these things. Good, I'm glad. You're a nice human. Basically, there is a state that you will someday come to when you're done with yourself. How do you get done with yourself? You just catch on. That's not about getting what you want. It's not about avoiding what you don't want. It's not about doing. It's about being. It's about, yep, I'm here. And that's the end of it. Not what do I believe, not what do I want, not what I hope for, not what should I be doing, not what's guilty from the past, not this I stuff. Just, hello, are you in there? Yes or no? You are in there, aren't you? That's not a hard question, is it? You're in there. You know you're in there. How do you know? Because I'm in here. That's the only one that's going to God. Christ said the kingdom is within you. Literally within you. Within the one who's in there, the consciousness, the being. When that consciousness stops being addicted to staring at this tiny little thing that you're calling I, me, mine, it will be liberated. You won't have to do anything. One great Buddhist teacher once said, spirituality is never about getting anything. It's always about losing everything. It's about letting go of yourself. It's about letting go of your attraction and fixation on studying yourself. I say this so obviously, if I stare at that picture, nice picture, if I stare at that picture and stare at it so thoroughly, I'm very good at concentrating, stare at that picture where I don't see anything else. Guess what? That picture is my world. Literally, you guys aren't even here. I don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere. If I fixate my consciousness on one object, then that is my life, is it not? That is what I'm experiencing. You have done that with your thoughts. You have done that with your emotions. All of them. Nice emotions, not nice emotions. X-rated, Y-rated, Z-rated. It doesn't matter. They're basically things that you are fixated on and you're staring at them and they're yours. But they're not hers or his or this or that or 8.3 billion other people's. They're yours. Sorry, you're not going anywhere. You're kind of stuck on yourself. You're staring, just like staring at that picture. You don't see anything else. You don't realize that. Yes, I do. This is my son. Uh-oh, I mean mine. No, this is what I like doing. I mean mine. You're still looking at it from the perspective of me, from the perspective of this tiny little thing, which you are not. I'm not the picture. I can stare at that picture as hard as I want. I will never become the picture. I'm the subject, and that's an object. The object never becomes a subject. The subject is what is looking at the object, experiencing the object. Your mind is an object. Every single thought you've ever had, every thought you're having is the same as every other thought. It's just something you notice. Do you notice your thoughts? Are you sure you have them? Prove it. You don't need to. You're in there. You notice your thoughts. Who notices your thoughts? That's the difference in the major step in spirituality. It's not what are your thoughts. It's who notices the thoughts. If you're busy worrying about that, wasn't a nice thought. Oh my God, I feel guilty about this. I can't be spiritual. I think like that. Oh my God, I can't. I like this. This is nice. I feel good about this. They're thoughts. They're all the same. They're thoughts. If you look at the ocean, there's wavelets. They're the same. They're wavelets in the water. They come and they go. That's what thoughts are. Same thing with emotions. They come and they go. Have you ever gotten really sad? Ever gotten really happy? Ever gotten depressed? Ever gotten elevated and filled with love? Yes, 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 yes. Who experienced those states? Because it's the same you that is experiencing all of your thoughts. They're not the same, but you are the same. The you who sees them, experiences them. So while you're fixated on you, I'm not cursing you, and everybody can disagree with me, but you ain't going to God. Why? Because God is everything. It's the whole universe. It's all the galaxies. It's everything that ever was and will ever be. Is that who you are? No. Who are you? I'm Sally, so-and-so's wife, and these are my children. I, me, mine, I, me, mine, I, me, mine, I, me, mine. Do you understand what I'm telling you? So you're staring at yourself until you learn. And how do you learn? We'll talk about that. How do I learn to not? Because I really am fixated on myself. And what most of the teachings give you, and I'm not saying everybody, there's some very, very deep teachings out there, right? But most of them are how to be fixated on yourself and enjoy it. That's a life coach. How can you find what makes you happy? How can you find a relationship that makes you feel fulfilled? In other words, how can you be busy being you and enjoy the process more than not enjoying it? And that's what everything's teaching you. You'll be more happy if you have money. You'll be more happy if you're married. You'll be more happy if you're single. You'll be more happy if you have 2 children. Just catch on that everyone's so caught, your entire culture, society, your species is so caught in the I, me, mine, that what they're teaching you is how to be caught in the I, me, mine and enjoy it rather than not enjoy it. He who dies with the most toys wins. Now that's just hilarious. Guess what? He who dies with the most toys dies. So basically, you wake up. This is called waking up. Just because we have this talk doesn't mean ego's going away. But if we can have this talk and then you start noticing, there it is, I, me, mine. There it is, what I want and what I don't want and what I like and what I don't like and what I should do about what I like and what I should do about what I don't. Understand that? Very busy in there getting what I want. It's like they don't even think I's a dirty word. It's a dirty word. Why? It's a lie. You are not what you're looking at. You are not your thoughts. You are not your personality. You are not your emotions. You are the consciousness that is aware of them. But you are so fixated on them that we don't talk about it. We don't look like that. Like I said, what everything's going to teach you is how to do good in there while you're fixated on yourself. How to make the self that you're not happy. Can your ego be happy? Yeah, if it gets what it wants. How do you know what it wants? It makes it up. Your ego decides what it wants, and then you go out there and try to get it. And you say, I'm successful if I'm getting it, because I'm having a happy time in my life, okay? And I got a relationship, and it's like perfect. I think I found my soulmate, right? Until I found out that his past and he killed some people. No, that's not my soulmate. I was wrong. Can your mind change its mind? Can you have trouble making decisions? You know, I have people talk about that all the time. I don't like to talk about it. You know, I have trouble making decisions because you're trying to decide what will make you feel better. If there's 2 things in front of you and they're equal, food, here it is. You really like that and you really like that. Which one do you want? I don't care. It's not a decision. I don't care. Take that one, right? And if both of them make you sick, I'm nothing. You're trying to make decisions that your mind and your heart think that if that were to happen, I would be doing better. And then if you're trying to make a decision, it looks like you're going to do worse. You don't do it, do you? So you're not making a decision. You're trying to adhere to your being caught in this limit of your ego. Just next time you try to make a decision, I want to watch. Well, should I go to California or stay living in Florida? Well, it's hot in Florida. Oh, you don't like hot? Some people like hot. No, I don't like hot. Okay. Therefore, you don't want to stay in Florida. Well, California is more liberal or conservative, whatever it is. Well, what are you? I'm more liberal or conservative. Okay, I want to go there. Right? You're trying to see what you can do that will make you fit better, feel better, have less problems, do better financially. That's what the mind does. I'm trying to make a decision of what will make me feel better. And that sounds logical to you. It does. It's perfectly logical. If you think you're your ego, if you think you're the part of you that's not okay, you'll make decisions that will make you be okay. If you understand who you are, if you get to a decent state inside where you realize you're looking at the ego, you're not it. You're looking at your changing emotions. You're not them. Then you will start to feel this Shakti. You'll start to feel this pull of divine energy pulling you up back into yourself. as opposed to the ego pulling you down into it. You will get to that point when you let go of staring at your ego. Like I said, if I stop staring at the picture, oh, look at you guys. Where'd you come from? That's where God is. The part you're not staring at, okay? You're so busy staring at you, how are you going to see your divinity? Yes, it's true. God dwells within you. Yes, it's true. You are divine. Yes, it's true. You are God descended. You're everything. But if you're staring at your body and your emotions and your thoughts, you don't know that. You think you are what you're staring at. So how do you get out? Now, that's where we get this potpourri of all the teachings. And they're all fine. They're fine. And I mean it. They're all very helpful at different stages of your path. Okay? I don't give techniques. I've never given techniques other than let go. But somebody asked me the other day, and I looked at it. I said, okay, I'll give you a very, very, very simple technique. And if you do it, wait till you see what happens. Wherever you are, and every one of you can do this, wherever you are, take what's in front of you, the task that's in front of you, and look at it as in the whole universe, there's 800 billion zillion things going on. This is the one that's going on in front of me. God gave me this task. It's nobody else's task because there's nobody else in front of it. They're over there. They can be at different angles, but nobody is in front of it. Listen to me. Nobody is in front of the moment you're in front of. And nobody ever will, and nobody ever was. That moment has, listen, that moment, see, it melts my heart. You want to talk about devotion? That moment has never existed before, and it will never exist again. It's your private moment. It's the moment that the universe made for you. You are the only one there. But I don't like it. That's hilarious. I want more. That's hilarious. I hope it doesn't go away. That's hilarious. That is be here now. You're here with the moment. There's no other moment that you're with. There will never be another moment except for where you are in the now. Well, what do I do about that? You serve it. You take that moment as something holy because it is. It's your moment. God created the whole universe. And at this moment in that time and space, that's the moment that's being created and you're the only one there. So it must be for you. Don't miss it. What do you mean don't miss it? This thing called honor and respect and appreciation. You just look at the moment and you realize the creator of the universe created this moment for me. Okay, and that's tough because you don't like certain moments. You don't want them to happen, but they are happening. But I wanted to. There's the I. You understand that, right? Not my will, but thy will. You get into the deep, deep teachings. They're very simple. You look at that moment. You look at your mind. Come on, be honest. It's either resisting or grabbing or bored. That's your relationship to that moment. I want to push it away. I want to grab it or go with the next one. What kind of relationship is that to have with God? That is what you're doing. And so the deepest teaching is you wake up, you're going to have an ego. It's not going to go away because we had this talk, but you don't have to identify with it. That picture's still there. I don't have to stare at it, do I? You don't have to stare at your ego. It's okay that it's there. It's going to be there for quite some time, by the way. Don't worry about it. The question is not how do I get rid of it? The question is how do I stop identifying with it? How do I stop projecting my consciousness onto it as if it's the most important thing in my life? That's very different than getting rid of it. Okay, I got an ego. Okay, it's complaining. I'm okay with that. I'm not complaining. He is. And I don't have to listen to him. Do I have to beat him over the head so he stops complaining? No. If I beat him over the head, I've involved myself in him. I've devoted my life to him. Do I have to make him be the way I think he should be so he's a good little doobie, spiritual doobie? No. No. Unless he or she is so strong that unless you mold it and work with it, you can't not identify with it. And that's where most people are. Their drives and their thoughts and their concepts and views and opinions and preferences and hopes and dreams, which, by the way, is their ego, are so strong that they can't get the distance. Well, then maybe if you stop doing something that's making ego worse, If you learn how to work with it in a way that it's not as noisy, it's not as intolerant, maybe you can do better. But in the end, that's not what you're doing. In the end, you're noticing. That's witness consciousness. You're noticing, there it is. It has nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing. When it says, but I really want that, you just go about your business. It doesn't even turn your head anymore. It's not that it doesn't say something. Who cares? The wind blows, the rain comes down, then the ego talks. If you don't get distracted by it, if you're not pulled into it, you now have a spiritual life. You're seated in the seat of self. You haven't gone up yet, but you're not being pulled down. If I say words like that, do you understand? You're not being pulled into it. You learned to have a relationship with it. And by the way, get this straight. If you have that relationship, it will fall off. And the analogies sometimes are very good people use. Here's a still lake. Wouldn't that be nice if your mind was still? Wouldn't that be nice if the ego wasn't causing all this trouble? Okay? All of a sudden, a leaf drops in the lake and it starts making some ripples. That's the ego saying it wants something or doesn't want something or it's not happy. Okay? So what do you do about that? Well, you jump in and grab that leaf and pull. Oh, really? Will that make a few more ripples or will it get quieter? Okay? That's the mistake people are making. They think you're supposed to go in there and mold the thing. Every single time you go in there, you make it worse. You're stirring up, then you get guilt and you feel this, and did I do enough? People are going to me, do I meditate enough? I've been doing an hour a day. I feel so guilty because I missed yesterday. Holy mackerel, that's what you use meditation for, to make so neurotic? No, you don't jump into the lake. What do you do if the leaf falls in the lake? You leave it alone. You sit there and tolerate, accept, honor, respect that leaves fall into lakes and then they make ripples. Well, what will stop them? They stop by themselves, don't they? That's the most important thing you'll ever learn about the mind. Leave it alone. You don't have to change it unless you're unable to abstract yourself from it. If you can't pull yourself back, then you need to do things to work with it and make it more tolerable to you. When it's said and done, you're not trying to get rid of anything like that. You're trying to sit comfortably in the seat of self and not be distracted or pulled down by it. And I'm telling you, there's this major changing point in your spiritual growth where right now you're struggling to not get pulled down. But most people aren't. They're struggling to get pulled down and get what they want. They're struggling to give ego every single thing it wants. Do you understand that? That's why there are wars. That's why the whole thing's such a mess. Because everybody's ego is different. They've had different experiences. They have different preferences. I like to quote psychology. Man is the sum of his learned experiences. First of all, it's not true. Women are also. All right? The sum of your learned experiences. It's not true. You are the consciousness watching the psyche, the ego, and the emotions, the heart be the sum of their learned experiences. That's why you think the way you do. That's why you feel the way you do. That's why you like the color blue. That's why you like this kind of person. That's why you don't like getting old. It's just the sum of your learned experiences. You know, you've had experiences, some were good, some were bad, and now you've developed this whole preference system. And everybody's just different. I try to teach you that. There's no way anybody is even close to you. If somebody says to you, I think just like you do, they're lying to you. Why? They had totally different experiences than you. Their entire life. You met them 6 months ago. We're soulmates. No, you're not. So basically you wake up and realize if you had totally different experiences your whole life from the time you were born, and I meet you 6 months ago, what is the probability that you think exactly the way I do? 0 minus 7 billion. If it's true that your psyche is the sum of your learned experiences, everybody had different experiences. Now, what do you do about that? Accept it, honor it, respect it, and don't try to make things be the way you want them to be. Accept that while you're doing that, you're jumping into the water. You're jumping and thrashing and trying to make everything not here. Go in the water, and then every time a leaf starts to drop, jump up in the air and catch it before it hits the water. That'll get rid of the ripples. I don't think so. Right? You just make it worse and worse. You just don't understand what's going on. So what it's about is, yes, you have an ego. Yes, you have emotions. Yes. And they're sometimes difficult to deal with, and do different things. Therapy, this, I don't care. Whatever it is. Do what you need to do so you can get through. But don't think that's the answer. The answer is that you're able to, little by little, sit back in the seat of self, notice that there is this whole psyche down there doing its psyche thing, and be okay with that. Literally, sit there and say, a little kiss on the head. Hi, I'm so sorry you got hurt. We can deal with it. We're okay. And you just basically don't try to change the world so that you're okay. You just sit there and say, I can handle it. I'm okay. Everything I teach you, I can stay back here, even though the pull is fairly strong. I've learned to let go. I told you the other day, I talked about that, right? It is not that you're trying to not feel pain or discomfort. You're being okay with feeling pain and discomfort. I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. Until you are comfortable being uncomfortable, you'll be thrashing around in there. I don't like what you said. I can't believe you said that to me. Take it back. I am not going to talk to you ever again. Oh, how are you doing? In other words, I was uncomfortable by what you said, and I can't tolerate being uncomfortable. So I'm going to dump on you to make you apologize or never talk to you again, or you sleep on the couch for 3 weeks, whatever it is, so that I don't have to feel this discomfort again. Aren't we all like that? I'll train you how to not make me uncomfortable. Spirituality is not about that. Spirituality is about, can you be comfortable being uncomfortable? Can you up there, the consciousness, the awareness of being, see discomfort and be comfortable until it passes? That's like letting the leaf fall in the lake and being at peace until the ripples go away. That is the fastest way you will ever let the ripples go away. So it's the same thing inside. You learn to be comfortable. And if you're comfortable, you don't have to do anything about it. You get to stay in the higher state. No, I told you what happens. Now you're in a state where you're not comfortable and you get drawn into the ego, you get pulled down. When you reach a state that, not that it all changed, but you're comfortable being uncomfortable. You're comfortable. You went and took tennis lessons. You're married, you have children, you're happy. You went and took tennis lessons and he was really cute, or she was. And all your heart started going like, this hasn't been like that since you were in college or high school, right? And all of a sudden, all is going all right. And you finish the lesson and you go home and you say, God, I had such a beautiful experience today. And I'm so happy to come home with all this love. You don't say who you had it with, all right? But just basically bring the love home. Not that means I have to run away with somebody. I have to go do something different because I couldn't handle the fact that love came up inside of me. So not only are you comfortable being uncomfortable, you're comfortable being comfortable. I'm talking to you deep tonight. So you're in there. And yes, there will be times that things, I've talked this before with you, there will be times that things go on in your life that you're not going to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You're not going to be comfortable being comfortable. And the next thing you know, the pull down and out is so strong that you can't see any way around it. Then you go through it. Don't you dare tell somebody you're not supposed to go through things. You're not supposed to go through things you don't have to go through. That's like wasting your time. That's ridiculous. Okay? But if it's pulling you in, nothing you can do about it. It's creating all this suffering or trouble and stuff like that. You're going to find out that it unfolds. And you go through what you need to go through. And you learn what you need to learn. Fair enough? That's why you're here. Earth is a place that souls are sent to evolve. It's not going to all happen inside. A lot of it can. A lot more than you think can happen inside. You can process inside. Then you don't take on karma, you don't hurt people, you don't do all kinds of stuff, all right? But basically, otherwise, you go through what you need to go through. But what happens at some point down the road, you will find out by going through what you need to go through, stuff falls off. Ego says, oh my God, if I had that car, I'd be the happiest person that ever lived. So go get in debt, go get the car, and see whether in 3 weeks it's the same as your other car. You get in, you turn around, you go somewhere else. After you showed it off to everybody, after you tried to make yourself, you ain't getting blissed out on that car or that relationship permanently because it changes everywhere, it's everything. That takes time. That's becoming a seasoned spiritual person. You catch on that it's not about getting things or avoiding things. It's about being comfortable with things, even when they're uncomfortable or when they're really comfortable, right? You will end up at a point just by maturing in the process, not by forcing this or that. You just mature in the process of realizing what I'm watching is not going to be okay. He's fake. He made himself up. Ego's a made-up thing. If it's true that ego and your psyche is the sum of your learned experiences, who were you before you had that experience? No, I'm so-and-so's wife. No, you're not. You may be married to so-and-so, but you existed before so-and-so showed up, didn't you? I mean, poof, you all of a sudden showed up. You are you. And the more you understand and settle back there, the energy changes direction. I promise you, I swear to you, you don't have to do anything because you're not being pulled down. Why? Because you're not being pulled down. What if the ego all of a sudden says, oh my God, if I don't get that, I'll die? And you go, been there, done that. How many things have you seen that that's what it said? How many things have you seen that said, if I can get that, I'll be happy the rest of my life and I'll never want anything else ever again? Right. Congratulations. It always wants something else, almost immediately. Oh, we can get married? How many children should we have? Where are we going to live? Like, no, I thought you want to get married. No, I like it more. It's endless, isn't it? Okay. So you step back. You learn to step back. And what that means is I can handle what's going on. Not that it's not going on. I can handle what's going on outside and inside. And when you don't get pulled down as much, you'll start feeling this energy pulling you up. People ask me, what is Shakti flow? That's what Shakti flow is. It is the deeper part of your being not devoting itself to the part of your being that thinks I can get things and I'll be okay, or avoid things and I'll be okay. I'd rather let it go. Let it go. I'd rather have peace. All right? And then all of a sudden the Shakti starts coming up and pouring through your chakras. That's what's so funny. I'm sorry I'm like this. What if you never heard the word chakra? What if you don't know first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh? You don't know anything about them. You will one day wake up and all this energy will be pouring out of your third eye. Third eye, what's that? None of your business. Ajna chakra, none of your business. It's there. How do you know? I don't know. All this energy is pouring out and then it starts pouring at the top of your head. And sometimes you look at it, all this comes out through your heart. They're real. You don't need to study. You're welcome to. But it's like because they're real, you just study them and memorize their colors and their shapes and what's been they have. Nothing wrong with it, okay? But if you let go of yourself, the Shakti will start rising up, even if you don't know what it is. And you will feel in these different centers, and then you will feel it starting to pull you away from yourself, and it's scary. You must be willing to die to be reborn. I mean, now we're talking about letting go of who you thought you were. Not any particular opinion, but the fact that there is such a thing at all as an opinion. And you're being pulled beyond yourself, and it will pull you up. All right, how do I go about my life? Because I have a life to live while that whole process is working itself out. The process of working through your stuff, the process of letting go of your stuff, the process of not going with the lower energies. Well, I told you, there is a moment in front of you at all times. I have trouble talking about it because I live like that. That moment is of God. How do you know? Everything's of God, right? The whole quantum field is made from God's consciousness. All of creation is God's consciousness. And this is the moment in creation that was made for you. No, yes. There it is. It's in front of you. Are you willing to serve it? Are you willing, instead of serving I, me, mine, to look at that moment and say, this is a moment God gave to me. How do I do my best? You're not perfect. How do I do my best interacting with this moment? Okay? And then you do one more thing. Because if I do my best, what do I get? Right? I'm telling you, if you're doing business and you're going to see a client, that's the moment that God put in front of you. That person, you, this, business, nothing's not holy. Everything is a moment of God's creation. Everything came from the quantum field. Everything's a manifestation of consciousness. Then treat it that way. To me, I can't even talk about it. It's just unbelievable that that moment would even be there. I always take you down to the quantum level. That, again, you should understand these things. What science has found, they look down there. It's not molecules. It's not atoms. It's not electrons and protons. It's not even quarks, leptons, and bosons. Not even quantum particles. There's just wavelets of disturbance, of agitation in this field. They don't know what the field is, but they notice that if it interacts with other fields, these little wavelets, and the wavelets are so many of them that they seem to average out and behave as if they were a particle. There is no electron, there's no neutron, there's no proton, there's no anything like that. It's just what I just said to you. All right, well, that's pretty neat, okay? That's what ends up looking like this. Oh my God, how far does it have to come up and put itself together in order to be your body, in order to be the sun or be a star or be a plant. Every single thing is that. How do you not be blown away that it even exists? And it presented itself in front of you, in front of your consciousness. Oh my God. Look at its history. Look where it came from. Please listen to, I told you, your physicists and your scientists are your preachers. They don't believe in God. That's fine with me. But the fact is, they're telling you that this is what's happening all the time. It's coming out of nothing. It's, and the yogis used to teach, it's all just light. They're telling you it is, all right? And then that manifest light comes up and makes protons and neutrons and this and that and the molecules, and they bond together based on covalent bonds and blah, 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 blah. And she shows up. Well, I don't like that she's wearing pink socks. You see what you can do? Then you start realizing that moment in front of me is holy. It's mine. It's my dance with God. It's my dharma. That's what the word we use. There it is. And so what do you do with it? You honor it. You respect it. You don't like it or not like it. You don't resist it or grab it or cling to it. No, don't go away moment. It's going to go away. It's being remanifest every single moment. Nothing stays anywhere. Do you understand that? Not a single electron or anything stays in the same place, period. They don't even exist anyways. Really, that's what quantum physics is telling you. It's not there's a thing. There's these agitation waves, and there's so many of them, they average together. And so when you come back up here, when we look at them, they seem to be a particle. They're not. They're just behaving as though they were. And now that it did that, and then it made all this in front of you. So what do? You honor it, you respect it, you love it, you appreciate it, and you serve it. That's the highest thing you can do, right? What do you mean? How can I interact most honestly, compassionately, beautifully, devotionally with this moment in front of me, with every single moment? You won't be able to do it, but that's what you work on. Okay, so I'm serving it. I'm doing the best I can. The best you can is good enough. I've taught you this before. I don't care what anybody else tells you. If you're doing the best that you can, it's not only good enough, it's perfect. Because it's the best that you can. The best that you can do is a holy thing. If you look back later and see you could do better, that's because you learned. Don't you dare look back and judge yourself. The whole psyche is so stupid what we do with it. So if you honor, respect the moment as a God-given moment to you, and you serve it with all your heart and soul to do the best that I can, and then the next step, for no reason other than serving, you renounce the fruits of your action. That's the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. That's the essence of all the deep teachings. The entire Gita could be written in one sentence. Renounce the fruits of your action. Because ego can't do that. Ego always has a motive. Guess what the motive is? Me! Isn't it? Right? The motive is me. I'm not okay. And I'm doing this to be okay. So the motive is me. If you do your best with all your heart and soul for the moments unfolding in front of you, and then that's complete. There's no other reason. There's no expecting anything back. There's no goals. There's no motive. There's no intention. No intention. In the end, there's no intention. There's no doing. There's just serving the moment in front of you because it's of God. It came from God, and you're put in front of it, and that's the end of it, all right? It's like, for God's sakes, if God, all right, God shows up like a burning bush type thing. Okay, talking bush, and starts talking to him. Says, Moses, I want you to go down and tell the Pharaoh, let the people go. Ready. Here's Moses. Why should I do that? What do I get out of that? Well, you don't talk to God like that. What's the matter with you? What's my reward? No. Doing your will is a whole anything. How could I ask for anything else but to know what God wants me to do and put my whole heart and soul into it? I don't come back and say, okay, what do I get? Do I? All right. That's called renouncing the fruits of your action. You hear me? You've heard that before? You're renouncing the fruits of your action. The fact that you even think of not renouncing the fruits of your action is what's left of your ego. Because when there's nothing left of your ego, or at least you're not paying attention to it, there's just this complete, it's called the Tao. It's what Lao Tzu was talking about. There's a complete harmony between you and the universe. You're doing your task. Let thine own task be done. The Gita says that. Let thy own task be done, though done imperfectly, than trying to do somebody else's task, even done perfectly. That's so deep. It's just saying, do the best you can with what's put in front of you. And don't worry about anything else. Don't even think about it. Just do that, then do it again, then do it again, then do it again. And don't wonder why or try to make it make sense. That's just mine. Anything the ego is doing, it will use mine. Well, I wasted my time. No, you didn't waste your time. You served God. You put your heart and soul into reality. Otherwise, you put your heart and soul into your mind, right? Into I, me, mind. That's what you're doing. There has to be a reason that I'm doing what I'm doing. Why else would I do it? It's in front of you. I swear, I know it's very hard to imagine and to do until you learn. You're doing it because it's in front of you. There's no other reason. And there's no attempt to get anything from it. But what do you mean do it? People play golf. They try to get this little ball, about like this little white ball, into a hole with less strokes. Okay? Well, pick it up and put it in a damn hole. I don't understand. You can have a hole in one every single time. No, that's no fun. What do you mean it's no fun? It's fun to be challenged to do the best that you can. And they go back on the course over and over again, or football or basketball, or they practice. Why? Digging down in there and pulling out the best that you can and expressing it. It's really beautiful, isn't it? What's going on in the Olympics? A bunch of people practicing for years to do the best that they can. Best that they can. And I'm not saying don't have a sense of reward, right? A gold medal or something, right? But a yogi doesn't. A yogi does that. Why would you not? Why would you do anything except to do the best that you can? To dig in there and bring out the deepest part of your being and express it in front of you. And no sense of reward. Here, a musician, a real musician, a true artist. Take a musician. They don't need anybody listening to their music. They don't need to sell it on the web or do anything. They feel it inside. Beethoven felt it inside, and they have to express it. And that's whole within itself. Beethoven was an amazing being. Crazy as a nut and a big problem. But you know that. He was going deaf toward the end of his life. This brilliant composer with music. He went deaf. And he cut the legs off his piano so that it would sit on the wood floor so that he could feel the vibrations of the notes. That's how much he wanted to feel outside what was going on inside of him. And he had a nephew. I don't want to get into Beethoven, but he had a nephew, and Beethoven wanted to play the piano. Of course, you're my nephew. You live with me, all right? And the kid would be learning the piano, and Beethoven would yell at him. He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm trying to do it right." He said, "I don't want you to do it right. I want you to do it from your whole heart. I don't care if it's wrong. I don't care if you make a mistake. I want it to have that fullness of your being put into it." That's a musician. So that's how you live your life. Every minute of it, every second of it. You want the highest path? That's the highest path. If you honor that moment as God-given, and it is. I'm not being some preacher. God gave you the moment. No, science agrees with me, all right? It's a miracle. It's not a miracle that at least the moment exists. Okay, I want you to think about it. I keep talking to you about it, right? It's phenomenal that it even exists. And so you serve it. You serve it with awe. You serve it with appreciation. You serve it with love. But the main thing is you give your whole being. Not, why would I bother doing that? Well, I don't care if you're washing the dishes. I don't care if you're taking out the garbage, running a company. I don't care. They're all the same. They're moments put in front of you, and you put your whole heart and soul into them for no reason other than service. They're the servant of God. So Ramakrishna said that, fully enlightened being. And they asked him, he was way up there, one of the great, great ones. And somebody once asked him, well, what is left of your ego? What is left of your personal self? Because you sit in samadhi all the time. He said, the only thing left of him, he called it him. See, he was out there, was watching him, all right? He said, the only thing that's left of him is the servant of God. That's all. There's nothing else, just the servant of God, all right? And so here we have science backing us up. I don't believe in God. I don't care. Do you believe that the scientists see what they see when they look down there? The whole, super colliders are sitting there hitting protons against protons, and then they're breaking apart, and they're seeing, oh, they're really quarks and leptons, and oh, they're real, right? You can have your intellectual mind. And what does it say? God, right? Serve the miracle of life as opposed to serving yourself. Do you see the difference? Otherwise, I'm telling you, if you look, you'll be embarrassed. You serve yourself all the time. What do I want? What do I not want? How do I get it? And they teach you this stuff, how to attract to yourself what you want. But I want you to understand the highest at one point in your life. Are you listening to me? Not my will, but thy will be done. That's Christ. And so how do you do that? You serve the moment in front of you as a manifestation of your relationship to God, but you serve it with your entire heart and soul. And you will not be perfect. The Gita again says that. It says there is no such thing as a perfect act on this plane. Just as fire will always have smoke, so your actions will always have some imperfection. Fine. That doesn't mean you do the best you can. You just do the best you can. You don't judge. And then, like I said, the other side of that is just watch that if you do the best you can, your ego wants something. Wants a reward. Watch. I'm going to do the best I can serving God. Did you notice? You notice how high I'm getting? I keep track of how many moments I did serving and how many I didn't. It's just all ego. It's all rebuilding the I. But by serving other than yourself, serve the moment in front of you to the best of your ability with your whole heart and soul, and renounce the fruits of your action. And wait till you see what happens, because it's going to blow you away. That's like Master's one of Yogananda's favorite quote from the Bible. I think it was a byline of autobiography. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you. That's not like seek all things shall be added unto you. That's cheating. It's first do this. Put your whole life, beginning and end. People say, God, family, country. Right? Yogananda said, God, God, God. Period. That's what all the great ones said. Because everything else dropped into ego. My family, my country. Let's go fight about it. Let's go. You hear me? It's just, you devote yourself. If you learn to do that, just catch yourself during the day. Am I devoting myself to the moments in front of me? And you're going to find out there's not a chance in the world you are. You're devoting yourself to what you want, to what your ego wants, what make you feel better, trying to achieve things, your goals. You understand that? So you serve it to the best of your ability. You renounce the fruits of your actions. And you just honor the next moment, the next moment. And you're going to find out that you came in harmony with a force that's beyond your comprehension. And it's not you. And like I said, you don't need a reward, but what will happen is because you let go of you and you stop staring at you. That's all. It's so funny. You're staring at what's not that high, you. When you stop staring at you, by definition, what's left is what's higher, because you're not focusing it down here. And that's when the Shakti flow starts. You start feeling all this beautiful love and energy. One great master once said, oh, what has become of me? Wave upon wave of endless joy saturates me day and night. What hast thou done to me? That's what will happen to you. And now what do? Now you can serve even better. You don't change one iota. The teachings teach you so deeply. Yogananda, when Yukteswar touched on the first time, and Yogananda went into samadhi, he merged with the universe. His whole body was a whole universe. He was the speed of light. He was spreading in all directions. The whole, every planet, every star was his body. And then he came back. And what did his guru do? He took a broom and shoved it in his hand. Didn't ask him about the experience. Didn't let him talk about it. Took a broom, shoved it in his hand, and said, go sweep the floor. Are you hearing me? It's the highest path. Serve the moment that's in front of you and renounce the fruits of your action. You won't be able to do it very well. Do you understand that? Good. When you first picked up a tennis racket, you didn't do so good either. When you first tried the piano, you couldn't do very good either, could you? Start learning how to live that spiritual life. That's the highest spiritual life. Yes, meditation will happen. In fact, someone could experience that you sit down to watch a movie or a football game and you get pulled up. You can't even stop it. You have to meditate. It happens spontaneously, naturally. You can't stay out of those states. Ramakrishna, they used to have to walk behind him all the time, every day. One of the disciples, you're in charge of cleaning the ashram. You're in charge of getting the services together. You're in charge of walking behind the master. Why? Because at any time he'd hear the name of God, he'd see somebody standing like Krishna across his legs, he'd see something, every hair in his body would stand on end. The arm would go up like this. The eyes would roll up and fall over backwards in ecstasy and stay there for hours or days. It's pretty high stuff in there. You hear me? But don't worry, that won't happen to you. You can still take care of the kid. You don't have to say, oh my God, Mickey scared me. I don't want to go there. All right. So we just had a very nice talk, but look where we ended up. Serve the moment in front of you with all your heart and soul and watch how it's difficult to do because you want something from that moment. Or at least you want something from some moment that's not happening. Or you don't want a moment that happened before to have happened. There's too much mind. It's all the ego, right? If you fit and focus and just serve your moment and renounce the fruits of your action. What do you do when it catches the ego saying, did you notice what I did? Don't fight it. Do not fight ego. Ego is I, me, mine. If you get in, you're causing more thrashing. You just look at it and smile. Oh, you too. You get to a certain point, you know what you say to your ego? Oh, you're so cute. Your days are numbered. Not fighting. Just honor and respect and let go. All right. Work on these things. Jagrative.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.